saw people making their comments and all of that great stuff.
People
and
loved it.
It's really good energy.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's another step for sound culture.
Right.
It's another step for dancehall entertainment.
Towards
man.
growth, people.
It's growth, right? And it brings people closer to what we did, right?
Right.
So that's another thing that we was able to accomplish. But here is where I think the cruise got real for me. I also produced Mighty Crown's farewell party, meet and greet at the cruise, right? So what do I mean by the farewell? I mean that, Crown is retiring. They were supposed to retire in 2022, but because of COVID, their last show, which is dubbed the Far East Reggae Cruise, of course inspired by the Jamrock Cruise,
Right.
which will be the first reggae cruise in all of Asia. It's not only Japan, but in all of Asia, right? It's now taking place in July. So it postpones their retirement because
Right,
that
right.
marks their final performance
Right.
worldwide. So come July, that's it for Crown for every place in the world, right? So, those who are trying to grab dates would have to grab it between this conversation and July, right? We had this farewell because what it meant is that it's the last performance for them on the Jamrock Cruise. Crown has been a major part of the attraction on the Jamrock Cruise for quite a few reasons. 3-time Jamrock champions, back-to-back undefeated. Just the popularity of them on the cruise, right? Major. And I kind of didn't feel that going on. You know what I mean? When we were going on, it kind of was like, yo, we're going to produce this event for Mighty Crown. We're going to bring all of this merchandise. We're going to do all of this stuff because, anything that we do, we got to do big. We got to make it look big. You know what I mean? I'm champion on that because you can't say that you have a big brand and then you have to some fanky
Yeah,
presentation.
not mediocre.
You know what I mean? So we so the yellow tent made it to Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
Right? The yellow tent
Wow.
was
Was
on
on the
board.
board.
You know what I mean? We flew with the yellow tent, and the yellow tent was part of that whole particular setup. But why I said that it was so significant to me because it became real.
Real home.
Wow.
All of the
Like the retirement.
throughout all of this conversation and this and that, we didn't really realize that we're all gonna be going our separate ways soon. It's just a conversation.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? But now that we're here and we put this thing together and we have all of these sneakers on the table, because I was displaying Mighty Crown sneaker collection, so we flew with all the sneakers and we did all of this stuff. We created these booklets that, shows Mighty Crown's journey for the last 20 years and, all of that nice stuff, just to be able to present it the right way. The clash was the night before. Everybody went to their bed late. Most of the things that morning flopped because people still sleeping
Right.
from the damn clash.
Exactly.
Right? I was a little bit nervous because our thing started at
12:30.
12:30, right? And I'm like, I don't know if people are gonna come down, but I'm gonna be prepared to come down for them to come down anyway,
Right.
whatever. Long story short, the line
I
for
saw the
people to
footage.
come in to the venue that we were
Yeah.
holding it,
Yeah.
it just kept going forever. Like when we opened the door, it just kept going forever,
It was a
and
rush.
everybody came out to just say farewell to Crown. You know what I mean? To get the last glimpse of Crown, to just maybe get some merchandise. But Sherry, Stacy, those of you who are listening to my voice, like I can't remember another more fulfilling moment
Wow.
for us as people who've worked. I've managed Mighty Crown for 23 years. So that's over 2 decades. I'm very much responsible for a lot of the things that they've accomplished on and off, the battlefield or in the dancehall space, right? But we kind of was just looking at this as just another event.
Right.
Because that's what we do. You know what I mean? It's just another event. When the people came and the sentiments and, we started to show their documentary and people sat down and they watched and they started to clap at times and people started to ask if it was really over, and then people started to sign, line up for autograph signing and all of this. It was a moment. It was one of those, wow, this is over.
Right.
Like this is it. Right? So it's a bittersweet because it's like, yo, we did it.
All right.
But now it's
No
done.
one said that we couldn't do it.
Right.
I mean, everybody said that we couldn't do it. Right? And, and a lot of people don't understand, the whole Irish and Chin and the Mighty Crown journey. Most of the people weren't with us because it was Chin bringing in Japanese people in what they always wanted to keep authentically Jamaican. So it had nothing to do with their ability to play music or their love for the culture. It had everything to do with their Japanese. Now, if they was Japanese and they weren't good, we would applaud them to be in because we want to laugh at them.
Right.
You want to make fool of themselves, cuss bad word, run up and down on stage, and we laugh after them and we feel good. But the fact that they became really good, it became an issue.
Right.
Right? So we, for many years, we've always been across the street when everybody's been on the other side of the industry. We've kind of been doing it ourselves.
You've been definitely demonized for it.
Right, we've been on the other side of the street surviving. And everyone's looking over there and saying, how the hell are they surviving over there? What the hell are they doing over there? But they're not going to come over there because coming over there means losing the fan base of the people that's, on the other side of the street. And so much so, I saw that because none of the selectors showed up to Mighty Crown's farewell.
Wow, you're serious? Wow.
It was so interesting. 1 and 2 of them came, but they came to peek to see if it worked. And then when they saw the roar of people coming in and the
rush.
excitement and the whole craze that, showed that, yo, these dudes are not just sound men. They're
Celebrities.
right? They left. And then another one comes and peaks and they left. None of the artists on the ship that Crown has spent thousands of dollars with, dub plate and this and that, none of them was present. It was just us and the people.
The people,
But it was such a fulfilling thing.
Because that's the
because
important
guess what?
thing.
Maybe if the celebrities was there, the excuse would have been the place only full because artists sit there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the sound men are either neither here nor there. But it was, I don't know how to explain it. And I said I had to talk about it to open the show. Because Mighty Crown's legacy, the Irish and Chin legacy, is one and the same. It's the reason why we're sitting here today.
Yeah.
Because if there wasn't no Mighty Crown and Irish and Chin, there wouldn't be no Sound Chat.
Facts.
None of it. Everything that we've built here, we were able to build because of the years that we spent on the road and, doing all of the groundwork and understanding that green people and blue people and yellow people also play reggae. Because when you're in Jamaica and when you're walking the streets of Brooklyn and Queens, you don't know that other people is, doing well at our music as well.
Right.
You just
No.
think it's strictly a yardman thing.
Yeah.
What I believe is simply this. And we see it with the Sound Chat, right? We see it with certain broadcasters, even some of them on 93.5. You'll see that you'll keep a Sound Chat event or anything Sound Chat related, and some of them now go show up. They're not coming because they feel like if the audience sees them at a Sound Chat event, it further solidifies that Sound Chat is growing.
Yeah.
And Sound Chat is doing right. So because they have their fan base and their muscle, they stay away. Because by no means do they want to share their muscle and fan base with who they're looking at as the competitor. Now, I'm saying that to say the same thing with Crown, right? Those guys didn't come because, one, they may feel like they're sharing, but ultimately, two, it reminds them of damn, we've been doing this longer than these Japanese dudes. And these people not going crazy for us.
Yep.
We did something wrong. Now remind you, and I say this all the time, I never, ever, ever say that Crown is better than the rest of them. I would never say that. I have no basis to say that. Jamaica has some really talented selectors and artists, right? What I can say is that business-wise and strategy-wise and marketing-wise, Crown did a better job,
Yep.
right? So when you go into a place where there's people from all over the world and you realize that this is your culture, these Japanese and 3 Japanese and 1 Jamaican guy standing on a stage, getting all of this love and accolade for a culture that predominantly comes from you. And if you took them off of the stage and put yourself there, the embracing wouldn't be as strong. Nobody wants to be confronted with that. And you know, we could say whatever we want to say. We can make whatever excuse that we want to make. And again, I'll say it because people tend to feel like, you know, my thing is that Crown is the best. Nah, I'm not saying that Crown is the best. But sometimes to cross the finish line, it's not only talent.
Yeah.
That's where we have it wrong. We think that it's only talent to cross the finish line. And when other people who are probably less talented in our eyesight or in our definition of talent cross the finish line, we get upset.
Yeah.
So it was huge.
So let me ask you this: does anyone? And I'm thinking this question is redundant. Over the years, has anyone accused you to say you don't give the strength to anyone as much as you've given it to a set of Japanese or non-Jamaican?
But that would be a stupid question to ask because I've created the World Clash platform. The World Clash platform is about 24, 25 years old, right? The World Clash platform has discovered most of the sounds that exist in the last 2 decades, as far as, you know, in addition to the ones that were already cemented in the culture. So
Right.
World Clash has been the window or the playground for so many other cultures and sound systems to come.
Right.
If you think about World Clash is the only brand, and I'm gonna say this without apology, World Clash is the only Jamaican-based brand that didn't start in Jamaica, that got so popular that it had to be imported into Jamaica.
Oh yeah.
Every single brand in entertainment that we know of comes from Jamaica and is exported to foreign. World Clash was exported to Jamaica. That's how big it got. Because it was showcasing sound system culture, a part of the culture that we all grew up on and our parents grew up on, that the music kind of has just, you know, further distance itself away from, and this is where we are.
And that's the perfect answer to the question. What you do for we?
You know what I mean? So no one can turn around and say, you know, what Irish and Chin did or did not do for the culture. I've been carrying the culture on. I mean, there's other promoters as well. Don't get me wrong. But I've been there carrying the culture on our back for years, trying to make people recognize the importance of the competitive aspect of our culture.
Right. And
From a musical standpoint. The only person in my 2-decade-plus years that is taking up their brand that has value and put it behind the sound clash culture is Junior Gong. No one else. Think about how many major artists we have. Think about how much they earn from soundmen and dub plates. Just think about it. And none of them have put back into it. So when people ask me, why do I work with Jamrock? Why not? Why not work with Jamrock? Here's an opportunity for somebody else back, way even broader than mine. Can come in, come put something on them shoulder and maybe give you another 2 or 3 years to the culture. But the fact of the matter is our thing is so broken and so much bad mind in it. And so much people will never give you the credit for the work that you're doing. Do you understand how much media houses were on Jamrock Cruise?
I
whole
told
lot,
you
I've
that.
seen.
I told you I
Yeah.
haven't seen this much
let,
excitement.
now let me say this, and I say it to you without apology. Because the difference with us, and I'm not saying this to be an asshole, I'm saying this to be true. We have always fueled our own dreams, physically, emotionally, and financially, which means that we never need nobody. Right? So when you don't need nobody, you can do what you want to do. Now, so it go. Right? This is why artists tend to be independent, because record labels can't tell them what to do when they're independent. Right? So we have always been doing our own thing. Not yesterday, not today, but our own thing. Right? Now, we did that cruise, and the amount of media houses was on there.
Wally.
And I can tell you this, none of them acknowledges Soundchat Radio. None of them. Even though we was busting their ass on that cruise. And it's not because we're not doing a good job. It's not because them no respect what y'all do. It's our culture. The culture is, them boy, they're some foreign boy. So the Jamaica thing chips in now. When you look, you see the whole circle of man from yard. You know what I mean? All the one that wanna get along with them, they're Jamaica, you know. But it's their, how would you call it?
Now.
It's their, you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I know.
And you sit there and you say to yourself, wow, this is why we're struggling with the culture. This is why. Because you got people who put in the work. Now, I'm not saying Chin alone or Soundchat alone, because if I'm seeing it, it's happening to other people as well. We're supposed to be looking at our culture as the culture. Everybody's fighting for the growth of the culture.
Right.
Geographical location don't mean make sense, right? If Soundchat a bubble, if what would you call grooving radio a bubble, link up, whoever's bubbling. When we link up with the man them a yard, it's supposed to be a link. You understand? Because we're all fighting for the growth of the music and the visibility of the music. Nah, that's not how it goes.
That's sad.
It's a total different situation. And you have to look at it and you have to say to yourself, like, this is really crazy. Don't let these guys trick you, man. Some of the people them what wanna hear and they may come on radio and talk about togetherness. There ain't no togetherness. Some of the artists them where you hear pick up mic and sing song. No man, not no go so. Some of the selectors them where you hear at the dance hall and I get forward. It no go so. Now the greatest thing about it is that when we was there were people who traveled like 3 days
Wow.
in the name of reggae.
Yeah, man.
I interviewed these New Zealand,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
These New Zealand women, and their whole, this was first time on the cruise, their whole goal was to go to Jamaica, get off the ship, drive to Bob Marley's burial spot, because they wanted to sing One Drop to Bob Marley in their language.
Oh, wow.
Like this is the type of energy that's on that thing.
Yeah, man, the cruise
Like
is
the energy makes you realize that there's so much power
Yeah,
in
reggae is
our
strong,
thing.
man.
when you look at, there were people on there that I tried to interview and they couldn't talk because they can't speak English.
yeah.
They're just there because they can't speak English, but the music, I bring everybody together. The energy.
Yeah, definitely. If you go on a Jamrock Cruise ever and you walk off and you don't understand that there is a deep love and respect for reggae, you've missed the point,
Yeah, we went
honestly.
on a different cruise.
Yeah.
I was there for the 3 days, and I remember one time in the room I was watching this Soundchat Channel 5, and I don't know if it was Chin, because I saw Chin and Ninja was interviewing, and Chin got to some guys, I think they were from Costa Rica, and they looked white. And the man said, "Who you hear this?" And they said, "Bounty Killer." Chin was like, "Bounty Killer?" And then the guy looked at him and said, "What? You don't think we like bounty?
Nah, that's not what the white man said.
Well,
you want me to tell you what the
what
man
him say?
said? You know him tell you what the white man
What
said?
him say?
The white man said, excuse my French people.
Yeah.
Right? The white man looked on me. Because I said, who are you guys here to see? Right? I don't know where he came from, but they Spanish kind of.
Costa Rica, I think it was.
It was either Costa Rica or maybe, whatever.
I think it was
right?
either there or Colombia, one of them.
Colombia, that's where it was
One
from.
of
They
them.
were from Colombia.
Yeah.
Right? And it was a crew of them. So I said, who you come to see? And him said, Bounty Killer. So of course, I turned my neck quick. Bounty Killer. What you know about Bounty Killer? Right? So while I was talking to the next one to explain to me about Bounty Killer, the next one turned to me and said, yo, what happened to you? You think blood clot Colombian man don't know about Bounty Killer?
Facts.
Eh? You take man for idiot?
That's exactly what he said.
That's exactly what the man said
That's
to
exactly what he said.
Wow.
And I was shocked.
And I was sitting there and
the
I
only
was
thing
laughing.
I could do is get him on a fist thump and say, yes, good boy.
He know what he's talking
That's
about.
exactly what he said.
But that's the culture,
Wow.
is
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And what you know, ultimately, before we close this thing, I'm trying to let people understand this, right? How do we think that reggae and dancehall is going to be so infectious, and other people are not going to get involved?
Right.
It just doesn't make sense.
No.
Right? When you got people who are mimicking our dressing, mimicking our food, mimicking our talent, mimicking our dancing, why do you not think that they're going to become dancers? They're not going to become artists. They're not going to become producers. They're not going to become stage show promoters. Why? Why would you not think so?
Yeah.
And then also, our artists who leave Jamaica to go tour, when our artists leave to go to Germany and France and Switzerland and all these places, right? Where there's a limited amount of Jamaican people there, right?
Who you think?
Who's responsible for the demand
All right.
that is there waiting for the artists them to come and perform?
Not the yard man
Sold
them.
out
Yes.
crowds too.
It's so
Yes.
stupid for you to think that. So, and my argument is this, because Stacey's, said to me, well, people might want to know, why haven't you pushed or have you put enough effort into everybody else as you put into Mighty Crown, right? So what we're really ultimately saying is that it's good to involve them when we can go make money, but they're not supposed to make money.
Yeah.
You understand? So when we there Jamaica now and we get the call and we can say, yeah man, just give me $80,000 and 25 plane ticket and we come mash up that stage show there for you, right? Who do you think is responsible for those people singing every song that you're performing, right?
See, I'm
Remember,
saying,
this has been happening before internet
And social media.
and social media, so you cannot use that as an excuse. It's these white Rasta man or bald white man who in a dance hall mimicking everything that they went to Pasta Wednesday and saw, brought it back to their
their
culture,
home, yeah.
and taught it to their people, which now
create a demand.
which translates into a promoter calling Jamaica to say, I need to see
Yep.
Sherry. That's where it comes from.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
work
So
with that.
what makes you feel that eventually one of these people are not going to become artists themselves?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Chin.
It's so stupid.
This is one of the things that I think it's not just with music. What we do is we never do things as a business. And when another person comes and brings certain ethics to the same thing, the same game that you've been playing, and then they excel to another point, you can't fault them at that because you're not utilizing the strategies for success.
You know why I've been able to stay ahead of the industry? 2 words: Mighty Crown. And you know why I've been able to stay ahead of the industry? Because of Mighty Crown. Unrehearsed, right? Because I just ran in. This is an opportunity that fell in my lap, right? We didn't know. Remember, when I started with Crown, I was still at college. When Crown's thing took off, I used to have to leave school to go rush to what you call it, DC airport to go
Dallas.
meet them wherever them there. You understand? That's the
Right.
life. And get off the plane and run back to school to make sure my professor that knows somebody out of the country for the weekend. You know what I mean? But what happened was it allowed me to see different parts of the world.
Exactly.
Because I had an excuse to go different places because there was a demand for Crown. So you're going now and you're realizing that, oh, these people like the music this way. Oh, we think that Beanie Man is the biggest artist in the dance hall. But That look at you tell when nobody now pay no attention to a Jamaica. I him a run this round this so. I remember one year I went to Germany, and the biggest artist in Germany was Cecile.
Right.
Wow, look at that.
You know, and I'm thinking, Cecile, a lady side there? Nah, Cecile was a big thing at the time, right? So it gave you such a diverse understanding of the culture that when you come home now, you can sit down and try to connect the dots because now you have a foresight of what tomorrow will be. So now I knew to come back home when I'm planning the World Clash and say, you know, so we have to bring in somebody from Germany in a car. And boy, they bad over there, so you know. Boy, next year we have to use some Italian in a car. Now the normal Jamaican people would be like, yeah, me I go see some Italian white boy jump up and down and think them can cause bad word. I just wanted to have this conversation to open up the show because it's something that needs. As I said, in the dancehall space, we said we don't need no forward for this, right? It's just great conversation. Some of you will fall on deaf ears. Some on will kiss on the teeth. Some on will take out what's useful out of it. But it's what it is.